Street Genius Pot 58. But there are two problems. First, the brain is imperfect. We mistake things we see and hear. We forget things or misinterpret events quite easily. Second, once we create meaning for ourselves, our brains are designed to hold on to that meaning. We are biased towards the meaning our mind has made, and we don't want to let go of it. Even if we see evidence that contradicts the meaning we created, we often ignore it and keep on believing it anyway. The comedian Amo Phillips once said, I used to think the human brain was the most wonderful organ in my body. Then I realized who was telling me this. The unfortunate fact is, most of what we come to know and believe is the product of innate inaccuracies and biases present in our brain. Many or even most of our values are products of events that are not representatives of the world at large or at the result of totally misconceived past. The result of all this, most of our beliefs are wrong, or to be more exact, all beliefs are wrong. Some are just less wrong than the others. The human mind is jumble of inaccuracy. And while this may make you uncomfortable, it's an incredibly important concept to accept, as we'll see. Be careful what you believe. In 1988, while in therapy, the journalist and feminist author Meredith Meron came to a startling realization. Her father had sexually abused her as a child. It was a shock to her, a repressed memory she had spent most of her adult life oblivious to. But at the age of 37, she confronted her father and also told her family what had happened. Meredith's news horrified her entire family. Her father immediately denied having done anything. Some family members sided with Meredith, others sided with her father. The family tree was split into two once, and the pain that had defined Meredith's relationship with her father since long before her accusation now spread like mold across the branches. It tore everyone apart. Then in 1996, Meredith came to another startling realization. Her father actually hadn't sexually abused her. I know, oops. She, with the help of well intentioned therapist, had actually invented the memory. Consumed by the guilt, she spent the rest of her father's life attempting to reconcile with him and other family members through constant apologizing and explaining. But it was too late. Her father passed away. Her family would never be the same. It turned out Meredith wasn't alone, as she describes in her autobiography, My Lie, a true story of false memory. Throughout the 1980s, many women accused male family members of sexually abuse, only to turn around and recant years later. Similarly, there was a whole swath of people who claimed during that same decade that there were satanic curse abusing children, yet, despite police investigations in dozens of cities, police never found any evidence of crazy practices described. Why were people suddenly inventing memories of horrible abuse in family and curse? Why was it all happening then in the 1980s? Early played telephone game as a kid. You say something in one person's ear and it gets passed through like 10 people, and what the last person hears is completely unrelated to what you started with. That's basically how our memories work. We experience something, then we remember it slightly differently. A few days later, as if it had been whispered and misheard, then we tell somebody about it and have to fill in a couple of the plot holes with our own embellishments to make sure everything makes sense. We're not crazy.